You have been hearing about the colonial era, but have you thought of how Africa freed itself from colonization till today? Let's dive into African history. When Europeans sat in Berlin in 1884 and carved Africa like meat on a table, they thought they had conquered us forever. They gave us borders we did not draw, they gave us rulers we did not choose, and they gave us chains we did not ask for. By 1914, almost the whole continent was under their boots. Only two stood: Ethiopia, which defeated Italy at Adwa, and Liberia, created by freed Africans. But the fire of Africa never went out. In every village, in every forest, in every prison cell, there were men and women who whispered, "One day, Africa must rise." After the Second World War, when European powers were weak, African soldiers who had fought for Europe came back and said, "How can we fight to liberate Europe and still be under their control? It's time to liberate ourselves." That was how it began. In 1957, Ghana, under Kwame Nkrumah, became the first to break the chain in sub-Saharan Africa. From that moment, the drums of freedom spread like wildfire. Nigeria in 1960, Kenya in 1963, Senegal, Tanzania, Congo, Zambia, all across the land, flags of liberation rose high. But listen, independence was not given, it was taken. In Mozambique, Samora Machel fought with Frelimo. In Angola, Agostinho Neto with MPLA. In Guinea-Bissau, Amilcar Cabral fought until death. In South Africa, Mandela, Sobukwe, Chris Hani. They stood against apartheid with the spirit of the people. And Africa was not alone. During the Cold War, the world became a battlefield. The West wanted to keep us slaves, but the East, the Soviet Union, China, Cuba, they opened their doors. They trained our fighters. They gave weapons. They gave strategy. Yes, African freedom fighters studied in Moscow, in Havana, in Beijing. Cuba sent soldiers to Angola, Ethiopia, Mozambique. The struggle of Africa was international. That's why when people try to scare us about Russia, we neglect them because we know our history, which is very important. Russia never dominated Africa. They have always been a helping hand to us, and that is why we choose to cooperate with them in our states. And Ethiopia, let me remind you, Ethiopia was never colonized. When Italy tried, it was crushed at Adwa. Even when Mussolini occupied for a few years, Ethiopia rose again. That is why Addis Ababa is the home of the African Union today. By the 1970s, most of Africa had broken the chains, and in 1994, the last fortress of white domination, apartheid South Africa, fell, of course, with the help of other African brothers, which consist of Nigeria standing tall behind South Africa economically, and Nelson Mandela walked free. But brothers and sisters, independence is not the end of the story. Political freedom came, yes, but economic chains still hold us. Neo-colonialism still bleeds us. They took the flag out of their hands and put the debt around our necks. They left us corrupt leaders. They left us dependent on their markets, their banks, their currency. So the struggle did not end in 1960 or 1975 or 1994. The struggle continues today because Africa is still rich in resources, but poor in control. We must wake up. We must understand that the liberation of Africa is not history. It is a mission, and this mission is ours. Just as Nkrumah said, the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. So stand tall, learn your history, know that freedom was not a gift, it was won by blood, by sacrifice, by unity. And know that the future will only belong to Africans if we continue the fight,